Hey, what's going on? It's Bill Burr, and it's time for the Monday Morning Podcast for Monday, December 3rd, 2018. What's going on? How are you? How are you doing? Oh, I hope you're doing better than I'm doing. Jesus Christ. I'm in New York City right now. I don't think I've ever been lonelier in my fucking life. Good Lord. It's just like, you know, I don't know anybody in this city anymore. I used to fucking know everybody. I don't fucking know anybody. Looking for a familiar face. It's crazy. I'll tell you, this city, when you're 50 versus when you're 25, is completely different. So if there's anybody in their 20s living in New York, and I know you got a shitty fucking living situation like most people, but that's your time, dude. It's your city. So fucking enjoy it. Jesus Christ. First of all, it's December 3rd, and I'm like, oh, Christmas in New York is exciting. You know, I love the holidays and shit, you know. And I come here, and it's colder in L.A. than it is in New York. I don't, you know, this whole new fucking post-Me Too era weather. You know, I'm going to blame the Me Too movement on global warming. That's my next fucking brilliant move in my career. So I went down, I did a set tonight at the Cellar. I did see Gary Gulman. I was like, oh, my God. Somebody I know, and I went up. I had a good time, and then I left, and I'm walking in the rain by myself, thinking of like when I used to walk up that 6th Avenue. I used to walk up with fucking, you know, fucking Bobby Kelly and all of those guys way back in the day, and I'm just fucking like, Jesus Christ, where the fuck did the time go? And then I was like, oh my God, now I'm getting depressed. I can't do this. What do I? So I called my wife. You know, I FaceTime with my kid, and that was all good. And then I got in a cab, and I'm just like, I'm not gonna, you know, what is it? Whatever. You know, you have like a fucking sad thought, and then you fucking just cling to it. It's like, I'm not fucking doing that. I'm gonna get myself in a better goddamn mood. So I came home. I watched a little bit of football. You know, I watched the end of the fucking Steelers and the Chargers. We got the Chargers, the Steelers, the Sharks, and more. Anybody in Boston remember that? MVP Sports, when they had the fucking employee do the commercial? Come on down to MVP Sports. We got all the jerseys. We got the Sharks, the Steelers, the Chargers, and more. I watched that game. And right as I go to shut it off, it's that fucking infuriating / depressing fucking commercial, where it's the dad with his daughter, you know, and she's getting older, and he has his favorite fucking song, which is the most depressing thing ever. It's a song of regret. I wish that I knew what I knew then when I was younger. Whatever now, what I know now, whatever the fuck. I'm like fucking mentally dyslexic, so I don't know how the exact thing fucking goes. And then in the end, she fucking goes away, right? So that's the whole song of fucking regret. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I'm looking back. Jesus Christ, I wish I fucking, you know. I don't need to hear that. That's the soundtrack of my whole fucking walk home. You know? And I'm sitting here, and that stupid commercial comes on. And as if that commercial isn't depressing enough, especially on a Sunday night. They should not be allowed to play that song on a fucking Sunday night when someone's sitting there in their fucking loneliness, about ready to start another work week. I wish that I knew what I knew then. Now what? I wish I knew what I wish that I knew what I know now. That's it. When I was younger, whatever the fucking song is. Then the end of the goddamn commercial is the daughter's all grown up now. The guy takes her to college. He's fucking heartbroken. And then she goes into her dorm room, and he's got one of those fucking things, you know, you know, hey, cunty, play that song me and my dad like. And it's sitting over in the corner just listening to her. I don't like that. I don't like how they fucking sitting there. They're trying to make all of this shit, bugging your own house, hanging out with a robot and taking a picture with it in those Sprint commercials, making us all seem like, yeah, hey, this is all like a great, fun fucking time. Or maybe I'm just lonely and I'm looking through it like, you know what, too, is I'm not fucking drinking either. And I swear to God, if I was drinking right now, I would go to a bar by myself. And that's how you do it. That's the most healthiest way I ever figured out how to combat loneliness on the road, is to go out, drink alone, get shit faced, and then come home and pass out. and then you don't come home sober to an empty room. But I feel like when I'm podcasting, I have all of you here with me. I feel like for me, podcasting is like giving a part of the world a hug. What did you guys do if I really legit, like I fell off a bike or something, and that was the result of my head injury? And I started talking like that, and I started wearing, those fragile chicks who wear those sweaters that go over their hands, and they're always picking up like a cup of coffee because they're always cold, and they have to hold it with both hands because they're fucking so weak. If I became that person. Well, Bill, it's simple. We would listen for a few weeks, and then we'd be like, all right, this sucks now, and then we wouldn't listen. Hey, what happened over in England with the London Derby, which I thought was like a fucking horse race? This team that I never even heard of, I guess was up 2-1 against Arsenal. Arsenal. 1-0 Arsenal, right? They're fucking up on them, and then they somehow, they were up 2-1, somehow they lost 4-2, and everybody was losing their fucking minds. Pictures look incredible. I wish I watched the game. Having said that, knowing nothing about the Premier League, if you just look at both their uniforms, you know who you're putting the money on. One of them looks like a professional uniform. The people who lost, that looked like a kid drew it. Anyways. So I just sat around all day, watching football and shit. I watched the Giants, very entertaining game against some other team that I can't remember because I'm fucking old. The hell were they playing? It's fucking unbelievable. I watched the whole game. I was also cleaning the fucking kitchen. I don't know. It was an exciting game, whatever they fucking played. I will say this, that Saquon Barkley, that's good that they're telling him not to run so wide open because he's kind of doing a little Earl Campbell shit where it's like, you don't need to take that much punishment on every play, especially when you're on a bad team. That would be a shame if they finally, became good and then that guy was all banged up, fucking leaping over guys and shit. It's amazing to watch, Then I watched the Patriots versus the Vikings. I was watching, who the fuck is that guy? Number 19 on the Vikings. Phenomenal player. I wish he played in our team. But on that 4th and short, when Belichick threw the challenge flag or whatever, and he's talking to the refs, and somehow that wide receiver got involved. You know what I mean? To the point you literally see fucking Bill Belichick. That guy, I got to commend number 19 on the Vikings. He actually got an emotional response out of Belichick. Belichick's going, he goes, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. He said it twice. And you know what? I don't know what was said in defense of number 19, but, just sitting at home. Yeah, shut the fuck up. You weren't even in the play. I can see if the running back said something. You didn't touch the ball. You barely blocked on the play. What the fuck are you jumping in for? Anyways, but the Chiefs won again. So as much as the Patriots are winning, the Patriots, what they're doing this year is amazing because we lost 2 of our top receivers. We lost our left tackle. We lost a running back, and we lost one of our top cornerbacks. So this is like a fucking, I feel like the last rebuild in the Brady-Belichick era. Hopefully we'll get under the wire again. But I do not feel good about playing the Chiefs again in Kansas City come playoff time. But they are the fucking Chiefs. So until they get over the fucking hump. But I don't know. We shall see. We should definitely see. And I just watched the end of the Chargers-Steelers game. The Chargers, the quietest 9-3 in the NFL. Nobody's talking about them. You know what I mean? Because there's fucking the Rams are doing so well. Right? They're like Eddie Van Halen, the Rams. And Alex Van Halen, meanwhile, is killing it right behind him. And nobody seems to be noticing except for Charger fans. Right? With Alex Van Halen. It only seemed like other drummers like, is it me or is this guy fucking unbelievable? And in his own right, kind of on Eddie's level. Anybody else, maybe he's a couple of fucking games behind. Actually, something, I was getting ready to do the podcast and I saw, I went to NFL.com so I could see a couple of stats so I wouldn't sound even dumber than usual. And I saw there was 5 minutes left, and the Steelers were down by 7. I was just like, all right, well, they got Big Ben. They're definitely coming back. And you're not allowed to play defense in the NFL, so why don't I watch this video game here? Of course, the Steelers go right fucking down, and bing, bang, boom, they fucking score. And, you're not allowed to play defense, and there's a good minute 50 left, and then the fucking Chargers are right down the fucking field. It's not are they going to score, it's are they going to get a touchdown or a field goal. I've never seen a game end as far as like offsides 3 times on the defense. I love that guy, number 25. He's like, fuck you, I don't give a shit. Keep calling a penalty. I thought it was kind of brilliant that he just kept doing that. Because he knew he had to make a play. And then what if on that last one he jumped past the ball, what if he actually blocked it? They called him offsides again. And then the next time he didn't jump offsides, and then the dude fucking misses it. Then it makes sense. I know I didn't explain that correctly, but I think it made sense. Whatever. I'm just a fucking lonely guy. But tomorrow night I'll be at Gotham, and I got a bunch of my buddies down there, so we'll be hanging out. But Jesus Christ, alone, stone sober in New York City is not. That's not what Frank was singing about when he sang about New York. My kind of town, New York City is. Anyways, rest in peace, 41st President of the United States, George Herbert Walker Bush. I was amazed at the amount of people that I wasn't amazed, but I wanted to see it. People being like, the guy's a war criminal, right? Somebody said that, right? And then somebody else goes, show a little respect. The guy's a veteran. He was on the ground fighting with the troops or something like that. It's like, you guys are both fucking morons. He was a pilot. He wasn't on the ground. Here's something for you right now, okay? For all of you, and first of all, I don't even know what they're referring to, because he was a pilot in World War II. So war crimes, they talking about in Iraq and Kuwait? I mean, I don't know what's going on there. I know Saddam was our draft pick, and then he went fucking crazy like a goddamn NFL wide receiver. So we had to cut him, right? In a military way, I guess. I don't know. I don't understand how all of that shit works. But I'll tell you something right now. Read this book called Flags of Our Fathers. Jesus Christ. If you, especially if you have a pilot's license. I just remember how fucking scared I was the first time I had to solo. Well, it was really the second one I had to do. The first one was like round trip was like an hour. And it was straight up and straight back. I just followed this highway right up. And I literally just did it with my instructor and came back. I think it might have even been a half an hour. The second time, you had to put 3 hours on the Hobbs meter, which is basically the odometer of the fucking helicopter. And that is honestly the most scared I've ever been in my fucking life. And I was flying a helicopter on a sunny day. And just to give you an abridged version, I hope I picked the right book. At the same time, I read this book also about Iwo Jima. But I think, yeah, Flags of Our Fathers was the book. And they had this mission. They interviewed George Herbert Walker Bush, and he was talking about how he was like a 19-year-old kid, and how, like, you're young, so you just have that thing that you just think you're not gonna die, and he said you just would always think, oh, the other guy's gonna get it, it's not gonna be me, and just the fact that and he flew all these missions, and these guys he'd be talking to, you come back and they didn't make it, and you had to fucking block that out. They sit there talking about icing a field goal kicker. Think about this shit. They're fucking 19 years old. He's going through this shit, right? So anyways, they have this mission. They got to take out some sort of radio, control center of the Japanese on this island. And the island's shaped like an old school football stadium, like a horseshoe, like where Ohio State plays before they closed it off. And the crazy thing, which didn't make sense to me, it didn't make sense if it was radio that would be down lower, but whatever the fuck the target they had to hit was down low, right at, like, basically picture if you're flying into the horseshoe, right? So you're flying into the open end of the stadiums, and you want to go bomb the people right behind the fucking opposing touchdown, end zone, I should say. And what was crazy was the Japanese anti-aircraft guns were actually, the way the island was set up, they were higher up than the altitude these guys had to fly in at. So they were actually shooting down at them. And anybody who's ever gotten into a fight at a football or a baseball stadium, if you're fighting a guy a row behind you, how much more of an advantage that person has punching down. Now imagine this person shooting a goddamn gun at a fucking airplane. You know what I mean? So they basically were flying in there. Oh, I skipped one part of it where former President Bush was talking about how you would come back from a mission, and he said you were so fucking in shock that you got out of the plane like you couldn't even talk. And he remembered one time getting out of his plane after being shot at and shit and seeing his other people getting shot out of the sky and making it back. He got out, and one of the higher-ups on the admiral or whatever, came up to him. He said, "How you doing, son?" And he said he opened his mouth and no sound came out. And he said, and then the guy goes, "All right, just go down to sick bay, son, you'll be fine." And he said, you'd go down to sick bay and they give you like 2 or 3 fingers of fucking whiskey and you just do a shot. And he said the funny thing was that it worked. That's just like fucking old school shit. You're just in a plane that people were shooting at and you're scared shitless? Yeah, go downstairs and go take a belt of whiskey. And then tomorrow you can go do it again, I mean, I don't know how the fuck they slept. All I can compare it to was just flying on a sunny day by myself. And I just remember afterwards when I landed, and not even after I rolled down, because you roll down from 100% down to like 75%, just to, you don't want to shut it off immediately because it fucks up the engine. I just remember the greatest sound I ever heard in my life was when I pulled the mixture and the engine shut off. And I was just pulling, the brake to slow down the main rotor. And I just remember thinking, like, thank God I didn't kill myself, right? And that was just flying in sunny California. And so anyways, so he goes into on this mission, and they're taking ridiculous anti-aircraft fire because it was a really important strategic location. And he ends up getting hit, and he was flying with 2 other people, and he was losing control of it. And he tells the guys in the back to bail out. So when they bail out, he has to hang on and stay in the fucking thing so they have a chance. So they fucking bail out, and he's heading down towards the water, and somehow he regains control of it. Now, the little I know about aviation, I don't know how he did it. I don't know if the weight of them jumping out, I mean, probably was easily a couple 100 pounds, 300 pounds just left the back. I don't know if that gave him enough, and he was able to get over the island to the other side and then crash in the water over there. And all the pilots were warned that the Japanese hated pilots. They thought that they were cowards. I mean, you got to think, aviation where it was. This was like a new thing. I mean, in World War II, they had like the biplanes and shit, but this new shit coming in and with the machine guns and bombing people and all that, they were considered fucking cowards. So I'm not even going to read the book. The shit that they do to the pilots is fucking nuts. Long story short, he crash lands over there. He sees the Japanese boat coming out to pick him up. He's in the water. He's 19. He's fucking crying. He's taking in, seawater and shit. And he said, like a fucking movie, as this thing's coming out, like a periscope comes up and a American sub surfaces, takes out the Japanese boat and brings him onto the fucking boat, and he survives. His 2 buddies got caught and endured like ridiculous torture before they were killed. And Bush ends the story saying there's not a day goes by I don't think about those guys, like what I could have possibly done or fucking something like that, right? So now, had I not read that fucking book, I would have been another idiot weighing in on this fucking guy. So I don't know what they're talking about when they say that shit. All I know is that's one of the craziest fucking stories you know, you guys heard me read advertising. I'm not a big fucking reader, but I was reading that book. I was like, Jesus fucking Christ. I got to be honest, had I read that book before I got my pilot's license, I don't know if I would have done it. I'd be thinking, because I'm one of those guys, I saw Jaws, not right when it came back. They brought it back. I remember they brought it back because Jaws 2 was coming out, and I want to say they brought it back, and I saw it, and I have never been able to be comfortable with the ocean after that. So I'm one of those fucking people, you know? Like, I'll freak myself out. My mind fucks with me in a pool, and I love swimming. But there is time, especially out in L.A., where they got all these fucking critters and reptiles and shit that I'm not fucking used to. And I always think, like, what if some fucking rattlesnake just came in, you know, and it's freaking out because, it, you know, it's trying to get from one, you know, it fell in and it's trying to get to the other. It's already, you know, dangerous as fuck. It's not going to be in a good mood, you know. It sees me come, you know, fucking swimming like an old man coming at it, and it doesn't want to die. Like it's going to bite me right in the top of my fucking Charlie Brown head. Anyways. So, I did, you know something, one thing I did get out of all of that, because I don't follow politics and shit, the one thing that they were complimenting him on, the fact that when they brought down the Berlin Wall, that he was smart enough not to rub it in people's, the Russians' faces or whatever, you know what I mean? Because we easily could have lost the whole thing. Who knows? You know, those are two big boys going at it, two heavyweights. Especially now, with the internet, and it's all like, hey, fuckhead, well, maybe next time. I literally watched, I fucking pulled up a video, right? I was trying to poach salmon tonight, right? I don't mean steal it. And how to poach salmon, and the name of the video is You're Doing It All Wrong. And it's just like, why the fuck would you come at it that way? You know, just be like, hey, this is how I make salmon. Some people do it this way. I feel like if you do it this way, that, you know, this happens. It's just like everything has to be like, hey, maybe next time, don't put the fucking dill on until you fucking whatever. It's like, Jesus. There's even hostility in fucking cooking videos. Like, I remember this freckled cunt showed me how to make a pie crust one time. I just realized what a hypocrite I was being. Anyways, guess what? Guess who has a new podcast, everybody? The great Conan O'Brien. He has a new podcast, and he was nice enough to ask me to be a guest on it, and you can listen to it today. I'm going to be on it. And you're probably like, well, Jesus Christ, Bill, where the hell is it? I don't have the information in front of me. Wait a minute. Where the fuck? Hang on. Now I have to go find it. Hold on a second. God damn it, Bill. How many fucking times? Conan O'Brien. I mean, you could do this too, right? O'Brien podcast. Conan Needs a Friend podcast on earwolf.com. Jesus Christ, I'm promoting a different podcast network. Anyways, I'll be on that. I had a great time on his podcast, and obviously, you know, he's one of my most favorite people in this business. Like I've always said, one of my favorite things ever is somebody who's super smart and they're silly. And that's why I've always loved him and Andy, because they're both obviously really smart people and they're silly as hell. And I had a great time on his podcast. So please listen to it. It's actually really cool because I learned more about Conan than I ever knew just shooting the shit with them in that hour. So if you're into Conan O'Brien, like you should be, check it out. There we go. Also, it's the first of the month, the beginning of the month. So my Patreon page, patreon.com/Burr. We got a bunch of new behind-the-scenes stuff that we put up there. We got Bill Burr, 3 arenas. And it's backstage from all the arena shows I did in 2018. Me getting ready to go on stage, me coming off stage, me jamming with Conan O'Brien at the Forum, Dean Del Rey, Michael Devin, and a bunch of other people. That's what I do before I do those shows. I always get together with some friends, play some music in the empty arena, so I'm not too freaked out when I go out there later. 2 new episodes of Uninformed with the teen idol sensation from the Opie and Anthony program, Mr. Joe DeRosa. And we also have... I did a live podcast at Stand Up Live in Phoenix, Arizona. We have the whole show up there. So there you go. You get all of that for $5. And I swear to God, at some point, I'm just going to start also making random videos for that. I've just been really busy. But anyways, check it out if you would like. All right? Okay. Now, how long have I done here? 25 minutes. I think it's time to read a little bit of advertising here. Did I even upload the advertising onto here? I probably didn't. Oh, Bill. I mean, how long do you have to do a podcast before you're a little bit more of a pro? And you're just a little bit more prepared. All right, here we go. Oh, my God. Conan needs a friend. That just made me depressed. And then I wish that I knew what I knew now. When I was younger, that's depressing me. I got to get out of this. You know? Oh, my God. Should I go fat person on this? Should I go buy a pint of ice cream? Framebridge, everybody. If you're a listener of this show, you've heard me talk about Framebridge. Framebridge makes it ridiculously easy and affordable to custom frame your favorite things, from art prints and posters to the photos on your phone. Now, with the holidays fast approaching, Framebridge is the easiest way to send truly one-of-a-kind gifts to everyone on your list. Here's how it works. Just go to framebridge.com and upload your video, or they'll send you a package to safely mail in your physical pieces. Preview your item online in any frame style. Choose your favorite or get free recommendations from their talented designers. The expert team at Framebridge will custom frame your item and deliver your finished piece straight to you or whenever you need it. A completely handmade, personalized gift from Framebridge starts at $39, is delivered in days, and all shipping is free. Plus, my listeners will get 15% off their first order at framebridge.com when they use my code Burr. I've used these guys. They're great. I got a bunch of great pictures for when I was in France with my lovely wife and my beautiful daughter. And someday me and my daughter will have a song, and it won't be something that fucking depressing. You know, it's going to be like, ba-da-da, ba-da, 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 here I am. It's going to be some sort of 80s. Rock me like a hurricane. Can anybody tell me what he says there? But don't wait. I'm going to actually look that up and sing it in falsetto for you after this read. But don't wait. Make sure to place your order Monday, December 17th for guaranteed delivery by December 24th. Fuck, I have to do this. Because there's a picture I want to get for somebody. Give your personal experience using framebridge.com. I already did. It's fucking awesome. With just a few taps on your phone, Framebridge lets you create a one-of-a-kind gift that will win Christmas and make someone happy for years to come. Go to framebridge.com and use promo code Burr. You'll save an additional 15% off your first order, plus free delivery in time for Christmas if you order by Monday, December 17th. Just go to framebridge.com, promo code Burr, framebridge.com, promo code Burr. You know, as much as I listen to the Scorpions, because they all had those foreign fucking names, foreign to my ear, I can't fucking... I know it's like Michael Schreckner. What the fuck was the lead singer's name? Lead singer of... did I say Poison? I mean Poison. Of the Scorpions. We all know Bret Michaels. I mean, that's a nice fucking straight-ahead American name there. Klaus Meine? All right, here we go. Klaus. He had to become a rock singer. How the fuck do you get married? How do you get fucking laid with a fucking name? I've been married so long, I just went to that. All right, wait a second. Rock You Like a Hurricane lyrics. All right. It's early morning, the sun comes out. Oh, they have the reverse snare. Whoosh. Late at night, well, shaking and pretty loud. My cat is purring, it scratches my skin. So what is wrong with another sin? The bitch is hungry, she needs to tell, so give her inches and feed her well. Oh, Jesus. More days to come, new places to go. I've got to leave, it's time for a show. Here I am, rock you like a hurricane. Here I am, rock you like a hurricane. They don't even know. Oh, he says, are you ready, baby? He says more than that. Here I am. Na, 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 na. Rock you like a hurricane. Are you fucking ready, baby? He's got to say fucking in there. He says something else. All right, let's get back to the read. Sorry. All right. No, that's not where they are. They're over here. No Billy clicking here. All right, tipsy elves. Oh, Jesus. Stay away before you get me too'd. Everyone needs an ugly Christmas sweater this time of year. Do you want the bragging rights for the most talked about sweater at the holiday parties? Then wait until you see... It sounds like nobody's getting laid at this party. Then wait until you see Tipsy Elves hilariously reimagined in irreverent new designs. Stylish Christmas. Whatever happened, just the women showing up dressed like Santa whores, and you stood in the corner like, oh, I'd really like to fuck her. Stylish Christmas suits for the classiest of holiday gentlemen. That's a time gone by. Interactive sweaters, beer pong, cornhole, drinking game darts, so Uncle Bob can relive his college glory days at family dinners. They should switch that to Uncle Bill. Even though I didn't really go to college. I did, but I commuted. You know what I mean? That's like you took a tour of college, you know, and then you went home every day. You sure you want to go there? I think I am, but I'm not sure. And even hilarious themed tees and awesome cozy onesies. You know, I thought onesies for adults were really fucking weird, but I'm starting to warm up to the idea. No pun intended. For women, holiday dresses so you can get down with your bad self. Oh, Jesus. Eye-catching leggings so you can strike a festive yoga pose. There they are. There's Santa's little horse. Or lounge around with a cup of spiked eggnog. And tees that slay and cute comfy onesies. They even sell bright, crazy ski suits for when you're shredding some gnar this holiday season. I don't understand what that is. You won't find more hilariously awesome designs anywhere else, so be sure to order from Tipsy Elves in time for your ugly Christmas sweaters. Now, make sure you get consent from these Tipsy Elves before you ask them to make sweaters, all right, before they're triggered. And right now, my listeners get 20% off tipsyelves.com when you use my code Burr at checkout. That's 20% off anything you order on the site. Go to tipsyelves.com and enter my code Burr at checkout to get 20% off site-wide discount. Oh, look who's back. My bookie, everybody. How you doing? I live on the hill. Sure, watching football is fun, but it's more entertaining when you got a little action on the game over there. Guys, you've heard me talking about this for weeks, and some of you are still on the sidelines, and you better get off because it's fucking December. Whether you're an expert or a rookie, you should be betting at MyBookie. If you're the kind of guy that likes to bet a little and win a lot, like playing the numbers on roulette, you can create a big parlay. Pick 3 teams to win. If you hit all 3, you could turn $100 into $600. You can buy a lot of ugly sweaters for that. There's so much to bet on: college basketball and football, NBA, NHL, custom props, even esports. You name it. I recommend these guys because I really trust them, according to the copy. MyBookie's been in business for years. They've got great online reviews, and their mobile site is easy to use. Sign up this week, and MyBookie will give you a 50% deposit bonus to jumpstart your bankroll. It's a great way to bank even more money when you win. How do you get hiccups in the middle of fucking reading? Also, make sure to follow at BetMyBookie on Twitter. They personally respond to every mention and DM. Not to mention, they even give away more than $10,000 in free money to their followers this football season. You'll be the first to know as soon as the new odds and props are posted. Don't miss out on one of the best weeks to bet on sports this year. Log on to MyBookie right now and use the promo code Burr to get a 50% deposit bonus. That's promo code Burr. You play, you win, you get paid. Jesus Christ. I hope you do better gambling than I did reading that last fucking sentence. All right, last one. Movement Watches. MVMT. Founded on the behalf that style shouldn't break the bank, they've sold nearly 2 million watches worldwide by bringing quality design at fair prices. Movement watches are all about looking good while keeping it simple. They don't tell you how many steps you've taken or blow your wrist up with text messages. Parentheses, you up? Oh, they're taking a shot at smart fucking watches. I love it. They're not overly intrusive on life with notifications, text messages, emails, etc. They tell time like true classic timepieces should and look good doing it. Movement watches start at just $95. You're looking at $400 for the same quality from a traditional brand. Idea. Talk about all the things you can buy with that saved money. I could buy some hiccup medication. If you need help bringing the perfect gift, giving the perfect gift this season, but don't know where to start, the guys over at MVMT got your back. They did all the hard work this holiday season so you wouldn't have to by curating their favorite styles into awesome gift boxes and packages. Get 25% off today during MVMT's Black Friday/Cyber Monday sale with free shipping and free returns by going to mvmt.com/Burr. Movement Watches launches new styles on their site all the time. Check out their latest at mvmt.com. Go to mvmt.com/Burr. All right. Mercifully, the fucking reads are over. Imagine I'll get a little blowback for that fucking Tipsy Elves one. So please buy some of those ugly sweaters, okay? For fuck's sakes. Whatever. I'm lonely, you know. What are you going to do? Sometimes, you know, the copy comes out a different way. I'll tell you right now, I can't believe the amount of fucking people, you know, that walk around in New York with their nose in their phone, especially when you're waiting for a subway. Jesus Christ, like back in the day, you know, people push people in front of those fucking trains. New Yorkers, can you please get, you know, you got, what do they have, that situational awareness? Good Lord, they just fucking, trains coming in, they're leaning against the post, just staring at their fucking phone. Anyways, LA Chargers, quiet as 93, I already talked about that. What else? Seth Meyers, I'm doing that on Tuesday. I'm doing the Jim and Sam show today, Monday, when you're hearing this. And, yeah, I got to buy a shirt for that, too. Yo, this is the weirdest thing. You can wear the same fucking pants every time you ever do fucking a talk show. But you always have to have a new shirt. You know? That's why another way George Carlin was a fucking genius, because he always wore the black and black, you know? The black sweater with the black, but that was just his fucking look. This is what I'm wearing. You don't have to think, you know, going Einstein with it. So then he just shows up and it's just like, oh, people just give him the benefit of the doubt. It's probably a new black sweater. You know what's fucked up? The time on my laptop is LA time. So I'm thinking, why am I this tired at 9:16? And then I just looked at the fucking TV and it's 12:17. Oh, Jesus. I got to be up early tomorrow. All right, let's read some of these questions here for this week. Fantastic cars. And second shows will be added this week to the European tour. I'm not sure what day yet. Just check on Twitter and BillBurr.com for dates. I can't believe, you know, all these places I've never been to before, all these people showing up. It's one of the reasons why I'm not drinking right now, is because I want to be in great shape when I get over there and give you guys your money worth, all right? I'm not flying halfway across the fucking globe to have a mediocre set. Halfway across the country, yeah, I'll drink, you know. I'll be a little under the weather. All right, but, you know, I feel like when I go overseas, I am an ambassador for shit and dick jokes from my country. Fantastic cars in F is for family. By the way, getting back to that criticism of George Herbert Walker Bush and stuff, if you see, like, just read that book. And I think sometimes, you know, people tend to, you know, just see the evil on one side, where there's just like, if you're overly patriotic, you only see your enemy's evil. And if you're overly fucking, like, liberal, you only see your own country's evil. And it's you know, I think the theme of this is depressing, because I read that book and it's just like, I just cannot fucking believe human beings could do that to other human beings. And I know we're guilty of it. I know everybody else is guilty of it. It's just like, it always goes back to that fucking thing I saw on the Discovery Channel. That time that monkey could have just killed the other monkey, and it didn't. It was a smaller monkey. And this is when they first realized that chimpanzees ate other monkeys. And he just was fucking keeping the other monkey alive, and it was getting off on the thing's pain. And I ever since that, every fucking time I see something on fucking TV about human beings doing something horrible to other human beings, for some reason that plays in my head. And I'm like, we're just fucking hairless monkeys. Which is something Rogan might have said or something. I don't know. I'm fucking tired. Anyways, not that clip. He might have used that reference. But anyways, fantastic cars and F is for family. Hi, Bill. I've just attended my 50th car show this year. Wow. That's more than one a week. I don't think I've ever been to a car show. I used to go to the car shows, showing the latest, the brand new cars. I used to go to that car show, but I would like to go to I'd like to go to a vintage one. Anyways, I've just attended my 50th car show this year, so I'm starting to get pretty good at identifying makes and models of cars from all around the world. I post all my photos on my public Facebook page, Classic and Modern Show Cars AU. Well, I got to check that out. I'm enjoying the third season of F is for Family. Thank you very much. And I am struck by the way that all of the cars have been lovingly drawn in such painstakingly detail that it's possible for a car fanatic like me to identify every single car in the show. My question is, whose artistic vision was it to make such a conscious effort to depict all of the cars so realistically? Not just the ones in the center of the action, but all of the cars in the background as well. I know that you're a car guy, so I wonder if you had any influence over the aspect of the production. Thanks and love to you and Nia and the kiddo. Yeah, that was an important thing with everybody, certainly people who were into cars on the show, because back then also, cars really looked unique back then, and they had a lot more personality to them, just because I guess I learned when I did Seinfeld's Comedians in Cars, it was basically with all the safety regulations, which is great because less people die, unless you're an environmentalist, and then that's not a good thing. But, less people fucking die. But because of the parameters of the safety regulations, the area where the artist could create became a lot smaller, so stuff started looking more similar. But back then, especially if you watch Me TV, like one of the big things back in the day was, the star of the show, if he was a badass or whatever, like it was really like, it was a big thing what fucking car he drove, what car Jack Lord drove on Hawaii 5-0, like Jim Rockford, on the Rockford Files, he drove a Firebird. It was like the top of the line Firebird, but he didn't have a Trans Am. And I always heard that James Garner said this guy, Jim Rockford, wouldn't drive a Trans Am. He wouldn't have the money. He'd have the money to get the really good one, but not the great one. And I used to always watch the Rockford Files when I was a kid, and I didn't realize how much that guy was struggling in his personal life, literally living in a trailer on the fucking beach, never married. And knowing that now and being old and all of that stuff, and it's like it's the perfect car. So the reason why, and all the cars are loosely based on cars that were around back then. One of my dream cars that I always wanted was when I got older and I really got into cars, was a 65 Ford Galaxy, and I always loved the Wimbledon white. And if you could get that with that Ford blue interior, and I mean, that's just a fucking man's car. I'm not into the muscle cars. I like the muscle cars. I respect them. I liked them when I was a kid. And I always feel like, when you're a kid, you like the frosting better than the cake. And when you get older, you're more into the cake than the frosting. Or maybe just so many. I watched enough of those Meekum, and it's just like one Shelby, one Hemi after another. I like those fucking cars, but at this point, if I was going to go like a sports cars and shit, I just like I really like random weird shit. And I always, I think I watched every fucking episode online before Jay Leno had his show of that Jay's Garage. And one of my favorite cars that he had was that, I think it was a Datsun 510. And it's a four-door, like, basically, sports car that Datsun put out. It's really boxy. The lines of the car are fucking so cool. And I remember one of my friends when I was a kid had an 81 Toyota Tercel. And it was, to this day, it was the smoothest shifting car. It wasn't fast. It was goofy. It was front-wheel drive, and it sat up really high. It was like an 81 or something like that. An ugly car. But I just remember shifting it. It was a 4-speed, and just it was like when it went from one gear to another, it was like butter. And it was this awful time where American cars had embraced what they did with the light bulb from day one, with rather than, they had the technology to make it last for a long time, and they decided to not, make it, design obsolescence, whatever they call it. We were doing that with cars. And I swear to God, American cars would shit the bed around 60,000 miles. It was fucking brutal. And the Japanese cars were trying to establish themselves, in America, and so they went the other route and were really focusing on quality. And that fucking, I'll never forget that. So I was thinking, like, I would love to drive one of those one of these days. Like, I just think, I also like a lot of small cars. I like those bigger cars, but I always felt like if you drove like a big American car, like you had to be a big guy, kind of a guy's guy going to a bar and everybody kind of clears a path or fucking respects you. I just didn't feel like, at barely 5'10", like I was one of those guys. So I always liked I always thought I looked better in a smaller car. But I've also always been like a truck guy and all that type of stuff. So having said that, I'm one of those weird guys where I'm a Ford guy, but I also love Chevys. And I don't know how you can be a truck guy, not like an F-150, F-250, and then look at a Silverado and not like that, or a Dodge Ram, especially back in the day, because I think all the trucks, the Internationals, and then the random Dodge ones that you see, those are always cool because you don't see those a lot. So anyways, each character, the car that Vic drives, the car that Pogo drives, that he's like a caddy guy, Frank's a Ford guy. Vic's got he's got the Corvette. We made it gold, like the color of Vic's hair, and just, because Vic is basically, as far as, it's kind of, Frank looks at Vic like that's how my life could have been if I didn't get married. He knocked up his wife is basically what happened. He was going to marry her, but he ended up having to get married sooner than he wanted to. So he had to put some dreams on hold. So when he looks across, right out his bay window, he just sees this guy living this life, And the funny thing is Frank wouldn't have lived that life because Frank wasn't a Vic type of guy. He wasn't a lady killer. He was a fucking relationship guy. And I think a lot of relationship guys, their fantasy is that they could have been a lady killer rather than just accepting their role. You know what I mean? Like you're on a team and accepting your fucking role. Instead, you want more minutes instead of coming off the bench, where if you come off the bench, the team wins. But if you don't, you want more. Who's that? Who's that? Coach Riley, the disease and more. So anyways, I'm half asleep here, so I'm fucking babbling. When the kids... There's a 65 Impala that Bolo and Lex have, and I always loved the round headlights on that thing. And I always loved, the Impalas, the late 60s Impalas, mid to late 60s Impalas. I love those things. I know a lot of people like, especially the West Coast guys, the rappers and stuff, they like the early 60s ones, which I really like. I like the one, the 61, the one that literally had a plane, a jet on the side of it. That's the one that I like. And what other ones? I don't know. So basically, yeah, we try to make sure if there's a and the reason why, this is a great question because I haven't really thought about this. The reason why Sue, Frank's wife, drives the Ford Country Squire, with the wood down the side, is because my best friend when I was a kid across the street, his mom, who was cool as hell, she had one. And I was just thinking about the early 70s and that type of stuff, where my life was at. There's a lot of real subtle stuff in there. There's a guy from last season, last name Linehan. That was the last name. It's funny, in the show, the guy was a jerk, but on my paper route, it was a great house. Like, they were really cool people, and they always tipped me well, and we just needed a name, and that was the first thing that I thought of. So, yeah. Hey, by the way, if you guys keep watching the show, whatever questions you ask, I'm not going to give away anything, as far as story or anything like that, but just as far as, like, some of the details. But we really, when we went to make the show, I never thought the 70s were sort of accurately portrayed after the 70s were over. It always seemed to be more of the way they did it on that 70s show, where it was like, making fun of the crazy clothes and the lava lamps, and which definitely was going on then. But, like, if you look at, like I love that movie Dazed and Confused, right? But the high school parking lot is fucking ridiculous. Those are high school kids, and they were driving cars from the 70s, if I remember correctly. And the reality is most people, like, the average person, I think, with their car would be 3-4 years old. And when I was younger, a lot of them were a lot older, because people just, I don't know, they weren't living the lifestyle people live now, or like something's considered old 3 years in. A fucking 2-year lease. Every 2 years I got a new fucking car, So, like, in the early 70s, there was a ton of cars left over from the 60s. I mean, they were only like, 5 to, 15 years old. 14 years old, so you saw a bunch of those, and then, like, cars from the 50s, those were considered really old because also the style looked really different. So occasionally, we try to throw a car in for the 1950s. Like, if you looked at Sanford and Son, the truck they had, which I believe was a 1950 or 51 Ford F-100, where the radiator was out front, just totally exposed, and there was no grill or anything on it, and that was to show that they didn't have any money, that they were driving that thing. And now, what's funny about that now is, if you saw that coming down the street, you'd be like, oh, fuck, all original, patinaed and all of that shit. But back then, it was just like, no, they're in a junkyard. These guys aren't making a lot of money. All right, that's one of the longest answers I ever gave, but I love my show and I love cars. All right, company raffle prize. Dear Billy Private Pants. I know what that means. Anyways, the company I work at recently had an outing where everyone from the company was invited. At the outing, there was a raffle that was set up where you could win a prize, and that's in quotes. The prize was a small statue of yourself that you could get for free from a different company that was hired for this purpose. I have to read that sentence again. The prize was a small statue of yourself that you could get for free from a different company that was hired for this purpose. Okay. They do this by scanning your entire body. Oh, my God. Sending that data to their servers, 3D printing your body as a 3-inch tall statue, and they send the statue to your house. Dude, I swear to God. I swear to fucking God. If you ever bugged one of those Bilderberg meetings, they are planning a worldwide thinning of the fucking herd, replacing you with a fucking robot. Anyway, so in total, this company would receive the following information about you: your full name, your email address, your phone number, the company you work at, your home address, and a 3D scan of your entire body. It's nice to know there's another thinking human being out there. There were hundreds of people lined up for this prize. As I was standing there looking at people in that line, they were all indistinguishable from cattle. Exactly. What do you think about it? You know what I think about? He said, what do you, or he or she says, what do you think? Would you stand in an hour-long line for the chance to give away your soul? Thanks for all the laughs. I hope this message gets to you. Dude, and he said, sincerely, none of your business. Sincerely, not your business. Exactly. You know what? What if that's the test? What if the fact that you were smart enough not to get in that line was the test? Well, wait a minute. Then the test would be, well, this guy's a problem. He's not going to do what we say. So maybe if you don't get in the line, you get whacked. I don't know. There's so many ways to look at it. I have no idea. But I just want to thank you on this lonely, depressing night that I'm having here, that you gave me hope that somebody else views stuff like that the way I do. Anyways, female warriors. And the worst people, when you bring that up, the worst point people, I mean, it doesn't matter. They're going to fucking get it anyway. Those people just fucking tuck their balls behind their legs. All right, female warriors. Mr. Burr, I am a huge fan of your comedy and a bigger fan of F is for Family. The third season had me rolling on the floor laughing so hard my sides were hurting. I feel like you're setting me up. Having said that, I think you're a cunt. Anyways, which is a compliment to your genius in comedy. I am graduating December with my second degree in English literature, the first being in history. Oh, look at you, you smarty. I bet you know all the words there. I'm writing to you not to show bias at all. I am just hoping to pique your interest in history a bit. Oh, boy. To get to the point, throughout history, females have indeed participated in wars dating back to the Stone Age. Some examples include Boudica, a queen who led a barbarian rebellion in Britain, the 1st century A.D., after she and her daughters were tortured and had their lands seized by Roman forces. That sounds like a great movie. Though she failed, she in the end led over 50,000 barbarians on a rampage against Rome and killed possibly 2 million citizens. Sources vary, but you get the picture. Joan of Arc needs no explanation. Yeah, it does. I thought she was in a whale's mouth, wasn't she? Another example I think you would find interesting is women from the USSR during World War II, a woman named Lydia Mo Pavlichenko. Russians have cool last name. Pavlichenko. Onto the blue line, Pavlichenko shoots, he scores. She got shot in the jaw and yet still killed the enemy sniper and walked away like it was nothing. I just find it interesting that women can be quite deadly when the time calls for it. I don't find that interesting. I watched the first 48. What's your take on women who took combative roles in history? Just hoping for funny yet enlightening responses. And knowing you never fail. Hope to see more of your work and looking forward to season 4. I don't know, dude. I am fascinated and have nothing but respect for anyone that fights in a fucking war, but it blows my fucking mind that you can get in trouble now for a joke, but war is still legal. War is still like an option to solve a difference of opinion between two nations. That it's like, all right, basically we're going to kill more of your people than you can kill of ours, and then that means we're going to be right. Having said that, all those stories that you said were amazing. I love that you thought I was smart enough to know what Joan of Arc did. I have no fucking idea. Is she the sister of that guy who betrayed Jesus? Didn't she end up in a whale's mouth or something? And isn't that like the female Pinocchio story or something? Joan of Arc. All right. Joan of Arc, nicknamed the Maid of Orleans. Oh, a Saints fan. Is considered a heroine of France for her role during the Lancastrian phase of the 100 Years' War. Was canonized as a Roman Catholic saint. Oh, they shot her ashes into the air. She was born to... I don't give a fuck. What did she do? All right. On May 23rd, she was... Oh, fucking Christ. Oh, my God. This is just... You know what? You know why I don't know anything about this? Because I hate this part of history. I can never read the fucking names. Charles the Seventh... and a recovered Francis domination 100 years. The unknown King Charles VII sent Joan to the seas of Orleans as part of a relief mission. She gained prominence after the siege was lifted only 9 days later. Several additional swift victories led to Charles VII's coronation at Realms. Like, what does that even mean? And I have to look up coronation? This long-awaited event boosted French... She did something in a war. Who was the one that ended up in the... Didn't she get, crucified or something? Capture, trial, cross-dressing charge, execution. Jesus Christ. Why did that just make me think of Bruce Jenner? A truce with England, trial. There's a trial for heresy. What is heresy? Saying bad shit about the king? I was saying bad shit about Christianity. It always goes back to religion. You know, it's weird how religion affects people. Some people, it makes them stop drinking. Other people, it makes them go to an island and get shot with arrows. It's very dangerous. You know, it's like some people can handle alcohol, other people can't. All right, I'll have to read up on her. Is there a movie about it? Do you want to read? What is my take on it? Well, they say hell hath no fury like a woman scorned. I would hate to see women acting like men. As far as, you know, going to war and all that shit, and them having to deal with the nightmares and the fucking suicidal thoughts and all of that shit. It's just really, it's this weird time right now where it's like the support of the troops and all that is to the point that you can't really like talk about how bad it is that these kids have to go over and do shit like that and then somehow emotionally try to get fucking through it. And then the striking lack of support they get when they come back. I don't know. All of that shit's a lot of depressing shit here. All right, father's will. Oh boy, somebody pulled me out of the fucking lagoon here. Hey, Billy Bulldog. After trouble convincing my 47-year-old father to sort out his will in the event that he passes away for some unforeseen circumstances. Well, I got to be honest with you. If I was only 47 years old and my kid was going like, hey, Dad, did you finish that will yet? I think I'd start sleeping with one eye open. If such a tragedy were to occur, now his assets would automatically go to my so-called stepmother. Oh, now I see your motivation. Who he has only been with for a few years. Yeah, man, you can't do that. As I'm sure you would agree, it would be unwise to give this much trust to a woman who has nothing stopping her from simply taking my father's assets for herself and leaving me, his only child, empty-handed. Is there any piece of advice you could give my father or I to help persuade him to wisen up and get this will sorted out? As always, many thanks for the great work you put in, and go fuck yourself. I got to tell you, that's an uphill battle on two levels. One, you're talking to a guy, you're asking him to deal with his own mortality, which men do not handle well. And then also, you know, that's his chick. You know how it is when someone's with somebody, it's hard for them to fucking see what you're talking about. So, Jesus Christ, I'm fucking tired. I'm fucking bombing on these questions. I don't know. I would start playing catch with your dad. All right? Maybe while you can slip in the points you want to make while doing a fun activity like that. And just be like, Dad, you know, I know you love her. I'm not saying leave everything to me. You know what? How about this? How about fuck all of that and you make your own money? You know what I mean? I know what you're saying because it'd be difficult to see some fucking broad who only banged your dad for 2 years get your house. You know? You haven't said she's an asshole, though. But the way to go is to make your own way in life. That's the way to do it. Just don't take over the family business unless you fucking want to. And who gives a shit, dude? Look, if your dad's only 47 years old, even if he had you at like fucking 25, you're only 22 years old. So, I mean, I don't think you got to be eyeballing the fucking will at this point. But I understand what you're saying. That's a weird one to bring up, though. Yeah, that would definitely weird me out. But if you're going to do it, that's what I would do. I would go fishing with them. I'd play catch with them. I would do something where we were doing a different activity. But the bottom line is that you know, trying to get a fucking man to go out and get a will done is about as easy as trying to get a drunk to get sober. It's like they have to want to go fucking do it. So I would use this as motivation for you to get yourself into a position that you don't give a shit that your dad passes, other than the fact that you're sad that he's gone. Forget about, you know, you getting his fucking bowling bag and a house and shit. All right. Boss's wife wants wants to fuck me. Do I really have to read this, dude? You know what to do. You know? Don't do it. All right. Hey, Billy Badass, I'm a big fan of the podcast. Here's my question. I work in a grocery store in Brooklyn Heights. Oh, God, I'm sorry. I'm so tired. I normally don't say where you're at. I'm 21 years old and in college. I work at the corner store for some extra cash. My boss is a great guy, and he really likes me. Obviously, I can't work for him every day since I've got college and stuff, but he always wants me to be the supervisor of the other guys who've been working there much longer than me and work longer hours. Here's the issue. My boss's wife is a fine-looking lady of about 35. I'd say she's a 9.5, even if she got 14 years on me. Is really into me. At first, I thought she was just being friendly, but she's become a lot less subtle about it. Yeah, but hey, chicks in their 30s, they know what they want. They don't beat around the bush there. On days when she knows I'll be working, she wears mini skirts and sometimes a crop top. She stared at my crotch all the time and laughs at my jokes. I'm not a funny guy. Jesus Christ. She invited me up to their house last week when the boss was out of town. I made some excuse so I wouldn't have to go up there. But I don't know what to do here. You know what's funny? This is a classic example of sexual harassment that will never be fucking reported. Because now she's abusing her position of power where it's like now if you don't bang her, then she'll fucking maybe say something bad to her husband, maybe even say that you grabbed her ass. God knows what the fuck she's going to do. She's smoking hot, but she's a married woman. Exactly. Not only that, but my boss is a great guy who's been really great to me. I don't know what my options are here are. You know exactly what your options are. If I tell my boss about his wife, he's probably going to fire me, and I really need this job. Don't fucking do that. On the other hand, if I don't tell him, I'm probably going to end up giving in to her. I only have so much control. Thanks, and go fuck yourself. This is what you need. Well, she's never said, I want to fuck you. So, oh, God. Here's the thing. Just don't fuck her. That's it. Rub one out before you go to work. You're fucking 21. Rub it out twice and just fucking go to work. Put your head down and just, I don't know. That's it. Well, don't put it too far down. Go up her fucking skirt. I would just high and buy her. That's it. She'll quit after. I imagine she will quit after a while. Although if she's a 9.5, okay, that gets dangerous because, you know, hot women age as well as former athletes do. Where it's just one day they're the belle of the ball, and then all of a sudden the cheering stops and nobody gives a shit anymore. And then they kind of have to, you know, develop a fucking personality. So, like, by you not giving into her might trigger some fucked up shit with her. But here's the thing, dude. Under no circumstances can you fucking bang this woman. You can't do it. All right? So what I would do is I would continue to fucking rub one out twice before you fucking go to work if you're feeling weak. And then I would be friendly to her, and then that's it. And just wait until, it's like you're playing poker here. Eventually, as long as you're nice to her, she can't get mad at you. All she can do is get frustrated. And eventually, she might get so frustrated that she just gives up, or she puts her cards on the table. When she puts her cards on the table, you just say how much you like. First of all, she's married, and then just talk about how much you like her husband and how much you respect him and what a great guy he is. You know, and then this is the big thing. Don't judge her either. Okay? Like how George Bush didn't rub it in the fucking noses of the Russians and just let the wall come down. The big thing in something like that is to give her a dignified out. Not saying she deserves one. I'm saying this for you. If you give her a dignified out where she can feel she can walk away and not be embarrassed, just say, I'm totally flattered. If you weren't married, I absolutely would. Not to mention, I think your husband's a great guy and he's been great to me, so I can't. Okay? And yeah, and I would just, something like that. And then just hopefully it fucking goes away. But I do find it funny with all of this abuse of power and all of this shit, And I don't think your situation is fucking unique. It's just that nobody cares to hear it. So I'm glad you put it on this podcast because, I give a shit. Good luck, buddy. That's a tough one. All right, that's the podcast. Go fuck yourselves. Please listen to Jim and Sam today or listen to the replay if you missed it. And check me out on Seth Meyers tomorrow. And you can also listen to me on Conan O'Brien Needs a Friend podcast on Earwolf. And by the way, I think this is the last couple of days you can stream Paul Verzi's special on ComedyCentral.com for free. So definitely check it out. And Paul broke all their streaming records. I'm so proud of him, and he's got some dates coming up, so check that out. Check out his new hour. It's fucking killer, man. All right? That's it. I'll check in on you on Thursday.